So, assalamualaikum everyone. Sa video na to, pag-uusapan natin ang maximum influence line at point due to series of concentrated loads. So, hanapin natin yung maximum shear and moment doon sa isang structure, which is pwedeng beam or truss. So, once the influence line of a function has been established for a point in a structure, the maximum effect caused by a live concentrated force is determined by multiplying the peak coordinate of the influence line by the magnitude of force. So halimbawa ng mga series of concentrated load is yung wheel loadings ng truck or train. So paano ba natin malalaman yung maximum effect ng loading sa structure? So meron tayong dalawang method na pwede nating gamitin para makuha natin yung maximum effect. Una is yung trial and error. Pangalawa is the change in function that takes place as the load is moved. So unahin natin yung trial and error method. So sa trial and error method, i-consider natin tong figure 6.27a. Aalamin natin yung maximum positive shear at point C kung saan itatapat natin itong mga concentrated loads sa point C. So yung critical loading is mangyayari kapag ang isa sa mga point loads na to is nasa right side ng point C. So since makikita natin dyan, meron tayong tatlong point load, then magkakaroon tayo ng tatlong cases kasi bawat isa dyan sa point load na yan is itatapat natin doon sa point C. So dito sa figure na to is meron na kaagad siyang influence line diagram. Since hindi na natin ipapakita kung paano natin nakuha yung or paano natin ginawa yung influence line na yan since natakal na yan sa other videos which is the influence line. So mag-focus na lang tayo dito sa pagkuha ng maximum influence line. So kagaya ng sabi ko kanina, meron tayong tatlong cases. So sa case 1, itatapat natin yung point load na 1K sa point C. So paano natin makukuha yung maximum shear at point C? So by using the formula B or shear at point C is equal to B sub 1 times Y sub 1 plus B sub 2 times Y sub 2 plus B sub 3 times Y sub 3 and so on and so forth. So yung P is yan yung load or yung point load natin and yung Y naman is yan yung ordinate. So sa case 1, ang shear natin is equal to 1 times 0.75 plus 4 times 0.625 plus 4 times 0.5. So saan ba natin nakuha yung 0.625 and 0.5? So yung 0.625 and 0.5 is makukuha natin siya by using similar triangle, then ratio and proportion lang. So ganun lang yung kasimple. So kapag i-add natin to, ang magiging sagot is 5.25K. So yan, so 5.25K ang shear natin sa case 1. So proceed naman tayo sa case 2. So sa case 2, yung loadings na 4K sa gitna is itatapat natin sa point C. So same process pa rin katulad ng kanina. So the shear at case 2 is 1 times negative 0.125 plus 4 times 0.75 plus 4 times 0.625. So ang sagot dito is 5.375. So since yung point load na 1 is natapat sa negative side, then ang magiging ordinate niya is negative 0.125. So sa case 3 naman, itatapat natin yung 4K na nasa right side banda dito sa point C. So same lang din ang process. So shear at point C ng case 3 is equal to 1 times 0 plus 4 times negative 0.125 plus 4 times 0.75. So ang sagot dito is 2.5K. So yung 1K na load is 0 ang kanyang ordinate since natapat ito sa support. So titingnan natin kung anong case ba yung may pinakamalaking positive shear. So makikita natin na ang case 2 ang may malaking positive shear dahil na rin sa yung 1K force is located 5 feet from the left support, kaya yun yung magbibigay ng malaking value ng shear. So ito yung nagre-represent ng critical loadings. So actually, yung case 3 is hindi naman natin kailangan i-solve since kung titingnan lang natin yung arrangement ng loads, magbibigay lamang ito ng mababang value ng shear ang case 3 compared dun sa case 2. So proceed naman tayo doon sa pangalawang method na change in function. So the critical position of loads that can be determined in more direct manner by finding the change in shear. So mangyayari yon kapag nag-move yung case 1 to case 2, then from case 2 to case 3 and so on. So as long as ang makukuha or makukompute natin na change in shear is positive, then yung new position or yung susunod na case na makukompute natin is magbibigay pa ng mas malaking value ng shear. Like mas malaki yung value ng new position than the previous position. So kapag naman nag-negative na yung nakuha nating shear, then that means yung previous position which is positive is yun yung magbibigay ng large value ng shear. So para makuha natin yung change in shear, i-multiply lang natin yung load P sa change in ordinate of the influence line. So ang formula nito is the change in shear is equal to PS quantity x sub 2 minus x sub 1 kapag sloping line. And kapag nagkaroon naman ng discontinuity or jump sa influence line, ang formula na gagamitin natin is change in shear is equal to P times the quantity of y sub 2 minus y sub 1. So yung y sub 2, y sub 1, x sub 2, and x sub 1 is same lang yan sila. They are both ordinates. So gawin nating reference yung figure natin kanina. So ang magnitude ng slope of the influence line is S is equal to 0.75 divided by 40 minus 10 equal to 0.25 over 10 over 10. So equal din siya sa 0.025. And yung jump at C is merong magnitude na 0.75 plus 0.25. So equal 1. Kasi nga from 0.75, nag-jump down siya papunta sa negative 0.25. So consider natin yung load sa case 1 and sabihin natin na nag-move siya to case 2 ng 5 feet. So kapag nangyari ito, yung 1K load is mag-jump down siya ng negative 1. And the rest ng loads is aakyat ang influence line nila. So magkakaroon na ng change of shear. So change of shear from case 1 to case 2 is equal to 1 times negative 1 plus 1 plus 4 plus 4 times the quantity 0.025 times 5 is equal to positive 0.125 kips. So yung negative 1 yan na yung jump down niya. From 0.75 bumaba siya ng negative 0.25. And yung 0.025 naman is yan na yung magnitude ng slope of influence line. And ang 5 is yan na yung distance niya, yung pag-move niya. So since yung change in shear from case 1 to case 2 is positive, then mas malaki yung mabibigay niya na value ng shear compared sa case 1. Kung naalala niyo nung nag-trial and error tayo kanina, ang shear sa case 1 is 5.25 kips and sa case 2 is 5.375 kips, which is mas malaki yung value ng case 2 ng 0.125 kips. Since positive pa rin yung nakuha natin shear, then tuloy tayo sa change in shear from case 2 to case 3. So i-move naman natin yung mga loads ng 5 feet papunta sa left and yung 4K load sa gitna is mag-jump downward since natapat siya sa point C. So that the change in shear from case 2 to case 3 is equal to 4 times negative 1 plus quantity 1 plus 4 plus 4 times 0.025 times 5 is equal to negative 2.875 kips. So since nag-negative ang nakuha nating shear sa change in shear ng case 2 to case 3, then that means case 2 is the position of critical loadings. So both trial and error method and change in function method is nagsasabi na sa atin na ang case 2 ang may critical loadings or critical value. So ganun lang yung pagkuha ng maximum shear kapag yung load is series of concentrated or point loads. Sa ngayon naman ay ang kukunin natin ay ang maximum moment. So gagamitin din natin yung previous method sa pagkuha ng maximum moment. So, gagamitin natin yung methods kanina para malaman natin yung critical position ng series of concentrated loads or force kung saan magbibigay ng malaking internal moment sa specific point in structure. So, syempre, kailangan natin muna madraw ang influence line for moment para malaman natin yung slope of its line segment. So, ang formula para makuha natin yung change in moment is equal to PS times x sub quantity x sub 2 minus x sub 1, where P is yung concentrated force or load natin, and S is the sloping line, and yung quantity x sub 2 minus x sub 1 is yung change in influence line ordinate. So as an example, tignan natin yung figure 6 to 29A. So magkakaroon tayo ulit ng tatlong case kung saan itatapat natin yung mga loads sa point C. So ito yung tatlong cases. So kapag yung case 1 is mag-move 4 feet to the left papunta sa case 2, yung 2K load is mag-decrease at change in moment from case 1 to case 2 since yung slope niya na 7.5 over 10 is downward or pababa na. And yung 4K at 3K forces is mag-i-increase yung change in moment from case 1 to case 2 kasi yung slope niya na 7.5 over 40 minus 10 is paakyat or upward. So ang formula or ang solution natin dito is change in moment from case 1 to case 2 is equal to negative 2 times 7.5 over 10 times 4, which is yung movement niya from right to left, plus 4 plus 3 times 7.5 over 40 minus 10 times 4. So, makukuha natin sagot dito is 1.0 keeps fit. So, since positive yung nakuha nating sagot sa change in moment from case 1 to case 2, then i-move naman natin yung loads ng 6 feet from case 2 to case 3 hanggang sa makakuha tayo ng negative na sagot. So, the change in moment in case 2 to case 3 is equal to negative 2 plus 4 times the quantity of 7.5 over 10 times 6 plus 3 times the quantity of 7.5 over 40 minus 10 times 6. So, makukuha natin sagot dito is negative 22.5 keeps fit. So, since negative na yung nakuha nating sagot, then yung malaking moment at C is mangyayari kapag yung mga loads is ganito yung pwestuhan sa case 2. So, ibig sabihin, ay ang maximum moment natin at C is, the maximum moment at C is equal to 2 times the ordinate niya na 4.5 plus 4 times the ordinate niya na 7.5 plus 3 times the ordinate niya na 6.0. So, ang makukuha nating sagot dito is 57.0 K feet. So, ang maximum moment at point C is 57.0 keeps fit. So, ganun lamang ang pagkuha ng maximum moment kapag ang load is series of concentrated or point load. So, yun lamang, and sana may natutunan kayo sa video na to, and thank you.